and welcome to the International Desk. I'm Lynda Kinkade. Chaos in Hungary as authorities struggle to remain in control of frustrated, desperate migrants. We begin with the latest in Europe's critical migrant crisis. Have a look at what happened earlier in a town near the Serbian border.
You can't. We are journalists. We are journalists. You can't.
Police claim they used tear gas to protect themselves from migrants who were throwing stones. The migrants had broken through the fence of a camp and have since been returned by police. Elsewhere in Hungary, thousands of migrants have given up on the idea of leaving the country by train. They've abandoned the main station in Budapest and have set off for the Austrian border on foot. Hundreds of other migrants faced off with Hungarian police for a second day on a train stopped at a station outside Budapest. The CNN team there said police appear to be pushing people back onto the train and sealing it. Now, let's get an update on what's happening there at that train station. Senior international correspondent Fred Pleitgen joins us now from Bicske in Hungary. And Fred, I'm hearing new details that some of the migrants have now left the train station.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Linda. Some of the migrants have been escorted off the train. In fact, we've seen several groups, I would say 3 groups, that have come off and then they've walked through an underground walkway and then were brought onto buses. I would say that the first group that went off was about maybe 60 to 70 people. The next one was very few, maybe 10 to 12. And then there was another group of about 30 people, consisting mostly of elderly, of women and of children. There were some very emotional scenes as those people went to that bus. One woman holding her child into the air. All of those people, of course, very, very tired at this point. But all this comes after a major escalation on the part of the Hungarian authorities, who all of a sudden put the train that you see here behind me between us and that train that has the refugees on it. They then were forced back into that train by the riot police, and now by and by it appears as though some people are coming off the train, although through some of the sort of gaps that we're seeing, we do see that there are still refugees who are on that train in there, still waiting, unclear whether or not they are going to be wanting to leave that train anytime soon. Now, earlier today, there were protests here by the people on that train, and I managed to speak to one of the refugees. It was very far away because he was behind a fence, but he told me of the grievances that these people have. Let's listen in. And you don't want to stay in Hungary?
We don't need to stay one day more. One day more here, we don't want. And you see, I swear, this is from myself and from all these people. If this one is burned, we are inside, we are not going to move. We are going to Berlin, Munich, anywhere, not here.
And Linda, what we've also seen is we've seen some medics that have also gone on the tracks. It appears as though they might be going to that train as well. At this point in time, it's unclear in what sort of medical condition many of these people are, but we have seen and heard several ambulances leave the scene here with their lights flashing. And now, as I'm talking to you right now, it appears as though they appear to be getting ready to escort another group, possibly of these refugees, onto the buses. What happens next for those refugees is that they will be brought to a processing center here in Hungary. And of course, that was something that many of them wanted to avoid at all costs. But it appears to them some of them are so tired at this point that they simply can't go on anymore, Linda.
So exhaustion perhaps have got the better of them there. Fred, was there much resistance when the riot police came in to escort them off the trains?
That's a very good question. It appears to us as though there wasn't very much resistance, and we're judging that not by the fact that we're seeing this, but by the fact also that when these people were escorted off the train, there wasn't very much noise that we could hear. Now, we have to keep in mind that, of course, all the refugees at this point are confined to being inside the train. When some of them were still mingling around off the train, you could hear these spontaneous protests, and it was very noisy. Having said that, however, when these people, when I saw them go on to the buses that are waiting outside here, the Bicske train train station, there was one woman who said, you know, we want the world to see this, and it was clearly very, very emotional, but it didn't appear as though there was very much in the way of resistance at this point in time, simply because these people, of course, are so tired. They've been through so much in the past 36 hours that they've been on this train, and it is also so hot today.
No doubt they're absolutely exhausted, tired, and hungry. Fred Pleitgen, thank you very much for that update. We will talk to you very soon.